Hey guys, here we are, Sunday, December 28th, and would be nice. Okay. Uh, as you can see, I got the truck. Engine is in there. All right. We got some issues. I have the transmission laying on the ground. I had to pull that back out. There's a slight issue. I put it in, fired the truck up, had it running. I noticed a substantial leak. There was, I don't know if you guys can see this, but right in here, okay, that little orangish, yellow, brown, whatever color you want to call it, that little line, that is the pump O-ring. Okay, so when you look at this pump, you notice there's not an O-ring on it. You can see where the O-ring clearly sits. Okay, but the O-ring is built into the case. On this transmission, you guessed it, the O-ring is actually built onto the pump, which I didn't quite realize that I grabbed the wrong pump. And so I'd put the wrong pump in there and assembled the whole thing, put it in the truck. Yeah, me. All right. We've rectified that situation. We're good. Okay, transmission should be fine. There was a large concern sometime after I had pretty much jazzed up this whole engine. Okay, I cleaned it, degreased it, stripped stuff down, painted it, resealed. Actually, I hadn't got to the resealing part yet. Something told me, hey Josh, because this engine's been sitting in the corner of your garage, you don't really know the background of it. This is true. I went ahead, and normally when I get an engine from the junkyard, what I'll do is that big old pulley down yonder. Yeah, is that the one down there? I'll put a 24 millimeter socket on a ratchet and I will spin the engine. Why I didn't do that before I started working on this thing, I don't know. Trust, too much trust, I guess. I got this engine on trade, just kind of, it sat in the corner over there. You guys may have seen it. And so, yeah, it didn't spin. Did not spin. I did attempt the Marvel Mystery Oil, seafoam, transmission fluid, the works. Try to get the rings to come loose from the piston. It was somewhat successful when I initially done the compression test on that cylinder. I only had about 30 psi. I've gotten it up to almost 90 since then. And the truck is fired up a few times. You can hear it missing. Definitely one of the biggest concerns is all the smoke goes chooching out the back. But, yep, that is the mission for today. Just in case you guys are wondering what all has to be done. All of this, everything up front, take off, intake manifold off, coil packs off, valve cover, exhaust manifold needs to come off. Pretty much everything attached to it. Alright, once I get down to that, I have to do head studs. Okay, and that may prove to be a little difficult. If you look back there. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'd videotape it, but you guys know how to take an engine apart, right? If you don't, holler at me. I'll send you a video of how to do it. But let me get after it. I'll give y'all an update later. Hopefully good news. Okay, guys. So, let me tell you what I found. I went ahead and tore the engine apart. And as I stated, the cylinders were filled with oil. It just doesn't look good. I'm still not sure. I'm in talks with my brother at the moment to find out exactly what's going on here. So if I could get that figured out, then I'll go ahead and hopefully get it running. All right, that's kind of the update. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. So I pulled the cylinder head off. I mean, I didn't expect it to look pretty, obviously, after what I had noticed. This cylinder, right before I decided to take the head off, I was sitting at about 150 psi. This cylinder next to it, struggling to get to 90. I don't know if you guys can see that. We got a cross piston there. I believe a cross piston down in there, maybe. Or maybe that's the only cross piston. Either that or they're just covered. But nonetheless, I'm going to try to get all this nonsense cleaned up. I may have to drop the oil pan, try to pull the rod, and see if I could get that there piston pulled out. You see, I got a mess in here. This was the motor. As you can tell, it's not currently in the truck. Alright. I had pulled the cylinder head and started digging into the block to see, why that cylinder didn't have very good compression. And I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, this is after honing it. Kind of want your cylinders to look like that. This one's still, I mean, it's not the greatest, but smooth. And honestly, it's probably just the top right here. That's a good cylinder. That is a not good cylinder. Alright, there's no bringing that back to life with a hone and keeping those pistons. That's gonna have to be bored out. But luckily I went to an aluminum block with red 1, and so this is a block that I had stashed up underneath. At this point in time, that's all I'm doing. I started something, I gotta finish it, so we're gonna take what we can from this block and swap it over to this one. We're still on Sunday the 28th. And so it's Saturday. I'm driving up to North Carolina with this truck, one way or another. Hopefully it's working. Sounds like a lot of time, but you gotta remember, I got New Year's. I actually have to work this week. I think I get a half day on Wednesday, and then Thursday off, and then back to work Friday. So not a whole lot of time. Wish me luck. We're here on part, God knows what, really. Just got home, just ate dinner. Alright, so last night what I was working on was, I'd gotten everything swapped over from the other block. Got the pistons cleaned up. That process took a while. The pistons were just absolutely nasty. And for that engine to still be running baffles me. It sounded pretty decent. You could hear the miss on the one cylinder, but that was not the only one that was stuck. I had rings stuck on 4 out of the 8 pistons. I had to literally go in and pry them out with a pick. So I went through with a pick and scraped the ring lands out, made sure those were all cleaned up. I got the rods and pistons put in the block last night. From here, what I have left to do is I need to torque the flex plate and finish that. I started them, didn't want to seat them because I knew if I seated them, I would forget to actually torque them. Same thing with the head studs. I actually have head studs in this block, so my dad gets,
yet another cool upgrade. As I stated, I bought all this stuff for my silver Mustang, which you guys, I'm sure you've seen in the background of another video. But yeah, I mean, it was supposed to be a full-on race car, but this is a stock. This is a stock LS 5.3. And there's nothing other than the studs. I mean, we don't have any cam, we don't have no springs. I left ring gap the same. I know it's not that big of a deal. And to be honest, whoever put the cam in, if they decide they want to put ring gap in, i.e. my brother Brandon, good luck to you, bro. I'm pretty sure I have something going on that weekend, so I'm sorry I won't be able to help. But yep, I just went to O'Reilly's. The most fun part about having to redo work, you know, taking the engine out, rebuilding it, transmission, all that stuff, is getting to buy all the fluids again. I love being able to go spend another $130 on fluids. And it's my most favorite thing. But that's pretty much where we're sitting right now. I'm gonna go ahead and get working on this. Flex plate is roughly 7 Ugga Duggas with a 1/2 inch impact. I think it's like 6. That's like 6.7 Ugga Duggas is what the manual stated. And so we're gonna go with that. Get the rockers and push rods and valve covers slap back on this thing, lift it up, and throw it back in the truck. So when installing an engine into an engine bay with an engine hoist, the first thing you're going to want to do is ask yourself if this is where you want to be when Jesus comes back. For multiple reasons, honestly. Like why do I work a full-time job and then come home and proceed to punish myself by doing stuff like this by my lonesome? And two, there's a good possibility that the engine could fall while I'm trying to lift it, and Jesus might find me there. But nonetheless, this is where I want to be. All right, this is exactly where I want to be. Doing a project like this for my dad means more than any of y'all might know. If you've had the opportunity to do something like this for your dad, then you probably do know. It's pretty cool experience. I've definitely done projects like this before, and it has beat me down. It's definitely taken me a lot longer to do this before, but also needed to take more breaks. With this, I did kind of put myself on a deadline, which I'm glad got pushed back now. As you can see, the engine coming back out, transmission coming back out. These were unforeseen circumstances, and that is completely my fault. But we're about to go ahead and throw this thing in there, and hopefully this is the last time it goes in, from me anyways. And we're gonna get it set in there. This process, we're gonna have to speed it up. It's gonna be a little painstaking. You guys have seen it once, almost twice, I guess. I tried doing it with the headers on there, it didn't work. So this time the headers are not attached. We're gonna get this thing crunk up and thrown in here.
Alright, folks, it's right at 9 o'clock. And so I've got everything done. I got it all buttoned up. Serpentine belt, alternator intake, I mean, everything minus battery. Probably gonna fill it with fluids tonight. Probably won't dump the oil in until tomorrow, just so that way some of it's up towards the intake or up towards the cylinder heads already. Fill the oil filter, and that way it's not just drained back all into the pan by the time I start it tomorrow. That is the plan. It's a little cold. I might turn my heater on just to kind of warm up the fluids in here. And we're gonna pour fluids in it. And tomorrow, I don't wanna open my garage tonight. Nor do I wanna piss my neighbors off. They've suffered enough. Okay, I am getting wiser in my old age, and I do feel pretty confident that everything's gonna work out. I might take my lunch break and come fire it up. I don't know if I can wait till I get off at 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow, but that is the game plan. We are on Tuesday, I believe. Tuesday, so not bad. I'll still have to clean the bed out just a little bit. Clean that oil and such out. Try to cover some holes, cover that whole engine with something. Strap it all down and we'll be good to go. Back there, interior wise. I've got all the wires ran. Okay, I got the little Holly 3.5 mounted. Okay, the first time when I fired it up, I didn't have the transmission tune in there. We'll go ahead and get the transmission tuned, but yep, all the legwork is done. All of the legwork is done. LS swap, I will say hopefully fully complete tomorrow, and then from there it's just kind of tinkering a little bit. It gives me a few days to tinker with it before I gotta load it up and take it back to North Carolina. So I'm kind of happy with that. I might rinse it off again. If you guys notice the shiny part down towards the bottom of the door, that was from when I had originally soaked the engine with transmission fluid and Kroll as a combination inside the cylinders. And when I finally got it to turn over, it turned over rapidly and it slapped all over the side of the truck there. So if you're ever trying to bring your paint back to life, I think that's an old trick, but I will say that's been on there for a couple weeks now. That's transmission fluid, and I did try to wipe it down with a dry cloth. I didn't put any soap or anything after it, but yeah, I don't know. A little cheaper, a little easier than spraying clear coat. I'll just take you some old transmission fluid, wipe on the side of your old shit box, and shine that turd up. All right, I'm really hoping he likes it. My brother does know at this point, with the fiasco happening yesterday and having to pull the engine and all that stuff, I was kind of hitting panic mode and decided to call my brother and let him in on the secret surprise, okay? He does know I think he could hold water for a few more days at least. And hopefully my dad's super surprised with this thing. Hoping he's happy, and I'm hoping he gets to enjoy it. Might critique me on his AC. I'm just gonna I didn't want to disconnect it. I'm not licensed to let Freon out into the air. I don't think anybody is. So we're not gonna do that. And I'm just gonna leave it hooked up and just kind of zip tie it or something. Make sure it doesn't fall while driving the truck for now, until we can get a kit for this. All right, I would have loved to have done that, just made it complete for him. But I need you guys to like and subscribe so I can get money All right, this was all out of my pocket. More so out of the kindness of my heart than my pocket, but nonetheless, this has been so far my favorite project. Maybe tomorrow, once I get it fired up, I'll have a running and driving video of it.
Guys, I just got home from work. I ended up working a half day today, and it worked out pretty good. I know I said that I might lose patience and end up having to come home on my lunch break and see if this thing fired off. And there's fluids in it, and we're at the point where we're ready to try to fire this thing off. I'm just going to bang the key, just kind of see what the engine does. I haven't actually put in the transmission tune yet. Just really curious to see if the engine's good this time. All right, so let's see what we got. Okay, guys, so we've got it running now. All right, definitely sounds like it's running on all 8. I hear some sort of noise, I don't know, but that's what I was looking for, right? Alright, we're gonna have a little bit of smoke. I know there's a bunch of stuff left over in the exhaust and whatnot. Oil pressure. Yeah, this one probably could have used some cam bearings. I'm not terribly upset with that. Alright, it has been running. It's fully warm. Fuel pressure sensor is not hooked up. I'm gonna go ahead and get this gauge center kind of where I need it to be, or where my dad should probably have it, so he can read stuff. Alright, so I'm gonna get back to filling the coolant. You can hear the fan come on. That was fan 1. Fan 2 should be coming on shortly, I think about 2:05. Alright, so I'm probably gonna just shut this off and try to burp this system. Yep, there you go, it's 2:05. Alright, we're good. That's pretty much what I wanted to do. He does have it running on version 3. If my laptop was charged up, I could have just gone through it. It does actually allow you to test inputs and outputs, so that's pretty cool. But that's kind of what I was looking for, guys. You can hear a little bit of an exhaust leak. I have not welded any of the exhaust just yet. That was the reason for me getting red 1 out, is so that I could cut the V-bands off of it. And so now that we have time, I may actually try to do that, just so the exhaust isn't all in one piece. As much work as I could do for him, to help him out, is what I'm going to try to do. The steering wheel thing, that's going to have to be on him. I don't think I'll have enough time. This thing needs to be loaded up by tomorrow night. As soon as I leave work on Friday, we're headed out. So today's Wednesday, we got it running. I'm about to try to get this thing a little cleaned up, probably weld the exhaust, and see if we can take it around the block at least. I'll come back when we're doing that. All right, guys, about to take it on its maiden voyage. Let's see. Hopefully my wife understands. She's looking at me through the window. Hopefully she understands that she needs to be on standby just in case. Alright, it does feel like there's still a miss. It could be the shitty exhaust. Who knows? Honestly, it could be a flaps lifter at this point. Alright, my brake light keeps coming on. I do need her to help me bleed the brakes in this thing. Let's see if I can take out some Christmas decoration. I ain't gotta put that shit up next year. Okay, yeah, we're not going outside the neighborhood, all right? We'll see how good my transmission reads.
skills are. Second gear right there. Yeah, it definitely sounds like she's low on power. Definitely hear a miss of sorts. I'm not entirely sure. It could be the fuel trim is like way bad. Because of the massive exhaust leak, but hey, we're working on it, guys. We're working on it. I just wanted to put this thing around the neighborhood real quick, like make sure that it moved under its own power. I would say it feels smooth. Alright, let's hope that I hook the park brake back up properly, because I just, as you can see, we're sitting here with the brake light on. Not a good sign, really. So yeah, I want to give her a little gusto, but the fuel gauge is probably reading correct. I put 5 gallons in about 4 gallons ago, so I'm gonna go to the store, get some fuel. We're gonna try to get these brakes figured out, and I'll be back. Let me stop recording before you guys witness my death. First time I'm leaving the neighborhood, so I believe we got brakes fixed. I put another probably 2 gallons of fuel in it. I poured the rest in the garage floor, but yeah, this is the first time coming outside the neighborhood with a truck since I put the LS in it. I made it this far with the small block Chevy before I decided it was a terrible idea. It was running out of fuel then. Okay guys, so the biggest problem I'm having is I can't get this thing to go full throttle. I need to adjust the throttle cable a little more, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna try to do us a nice little burnout. Uh-oh, my brakes ain't working. That's not good. Alright, looks like this guy up here is turning, so we should be alright. We're gonna try it again. Let's see if I can pump him, get him to hold a little bit.
Josh should be. Can I dump this stuff?
No.
Hey.
Why is he driving my truck?
He's driving your truck.
Nice. Nice. Is there a motor in the back?
I have a slightly different motor in there.
This shit's good. Yeah, you master installed it.
No, I have the same shitty one. I just cleaned everything. Your AC's still hooked up? I didn't let the Freon out. I didn't really know what to do with it either, so I just left it in there for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you, buddy.